Black Ops 6 Warzone Season 1 integration is here, and boy am I excited. I'm sure you're just excited, but before you dive in, let's get your settings right so you can be on point. And whether you're on PC or console, I got you covered. Okay, here we are in the settings tab, and as y'all can see, the UI is still pretty much the same, but there is a bit different. We do have a nice blue gradient, compared to the last gradient we had, which was the orange, which, that's neither here or there. So let's get off into this keyboard and mouse settings, but I will say keep in mind that these settings that we're going to be going over today, again, it will be based on whatever platform you're on, whether you're on PC or console, which is PlayStation or Xbox. And keep in mind also that within these settings, there's going to be some settings that you already familiarized with, and also some newer settings. And some things, some settings just might be in different locations. So let's go inside the keyboard and mouse. Now keep in mind, these are my keyboard and mouse settings. I'm not saying I'm the best mouse and keyboard player. I'm not saying any of that. But when I do dabble into playing on mouse and keyboard, these are the settings that I do use, right? And I do have an 8.25 mouse sensitivity. And I also have like a medium low range DPI, somewhere around 800 as well. Again, these are just my settings. Y'all might have better settings than I do in regard to keyboard and mouse, right? ADS sensitivity multiplier is at a 1. And I keep all this pretty much the same. Again, we're gonna go into the keybinds. These are my keybind settings. Y'all keybind settings gonna be differently. Whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever your fingers feel comfortable with of hitting, especially when you get into those close quarter and long range engagements. What I have over here, my sprint assist is off, but for keyboard and mouse, I may turn it on when I do dabble in it, but right now I do have it off. But this is gonna be personal preference, whatever you feel. You can copy these settings right now. When we go over to the combat tab, this is what I have. My aim down sight behavior is gonna be on hold, and pretty much so forth and so on throughout this. It's gonna be pretty much the standard, and feel free to change it as you will. Okay, now we're gonna go to the controller settings. Now, my controller setting, this is what best fits me. Feel free to pick whatever you feel. And the button layout that I've been playing with for quite some time now, like for many years, I do play on stick and move, which means I do jump with my R3 button. And I also play on stick and move flip, which means I do shoot with my R1 button. I aim in with the L1 button. And my tactical and lethal, I have on my L1 and R1. All right, so my stick layout preset, I have that default. Now, when it comes to horizontal stick sensitivity and vertical stick sensitivity, this is gonna be personal preference. I do play on a 4 or 5. It's kind of offset. I know it is gonna be weird to some of you, but right now, this is what I was using inside BO6 multiplayer, right? I have it at a low sensitivity, so that way I can, make it easier for me to snap on enemies, right, and also stay on target. So I got my horizontal at a 4 sensitivity, and my vertical stick sensitivity is at a 5. Now, within time, I still might bump this up to a 6.6, but we already know that the sensitivity been like a bit weird, ever since this BO6 drop. Okay, we're gonna have simplified control preset. We're gonna have that off. The low motor strain preset, have that off. Bumper ping, have that off. Again, I do have on my swap button, again, with my L1, I do aim and shoot with the L and R1. That is turned on. For my controller vibration, turn it off. You don't need it because you don't want your hands rubbling, especially when you're trying to be good at shooting and have a good pinpoint accuracy. So do have this off. Your trigger effect, you're gonna have off as well. Dead zone input, this is gonna be personal, right? It's gonna be personal preference, right? And for my left stick, man, I have it at a 0. Same as my right stick, man, is gonna be at a 0 because I don't have no stick drift. But if you do have stick drift, go inside of a private match, aim at a target, and if you start moving around, and you can also do it here as well, but you can bump it up if you have stick drift, and you bump it up by 1 or 2 until that stick drift is removed. Now for my left stick max, I do have this at a 65, and that's so that when I'm moving around with my left analog stick, I want to just make sure that I have a faster response time when I am trying to have some movement. And then for my right stick max, it's at a 99. I've seen some players, they do bump this down, but right now I've been at a 99. I might go down like if I have any issues, but right now it's at a 99. So feel free to use that as well. And then for my left trigger and my right trigger, I have it at a 0. I don't want any delay when it comes to me playing this game, when I'm trying to aim at someone, when I'm trying to throw my lethals, or when I'm trying to throw my tacticals as well. Now, when we go over to the aiming tab for the sensitivity multiplier, I do play on a 0.8, right? I lowered it down that way again, so I can stay on target. I don't want to miss anything. And then for my ADS sensitivity multiplier, when I'm focused, when I'm aimed in, I do have that at a 0.85. I may bump this up to a 0.9, but I'll keep you all updated on the next settings video. My looking version is on standard. My aim advanced settings, you go inside of here. I do have this on gradual for the ADS sensitivity transition timing. I have seen players put it on instant, but right now I've been playing on gradual because this will feel best for me right now. So feel free and let me know which one are you playing on if you already experienced this already. For my third person ADS correction type, it's on assist. My aim response curve, I do play on dynamic. I've been playing on dynamic for, ever since this has been integrated, right? I have not changed my slope scale. I do keep this at a 1. I have seen players put this at a 0 and put it at a 0.5, and they say it gives you that balance between playing dynamic and linear. But y'all do your own testing in that regard. But I do have this on a 1. And then for my custom sensitivity per zoom, I do have this on. I don't change that whatsoever. All right, we go down to the target aim assist. Have this on unless you that goated, leave it on. If not, you can turn it off if you want to though. But by means, if you go to like that, please send me a video. Send me a clip of you playing with this off and being goated with it. But again, leave this target aim assist on and also leave the ADS aim assist on as well. Now for your motion sensor behavior, you're gonna have this off. And then when you go inside the advanced settings of the motion sensor, this is all gonna be left as default. You don't have to change any of this at all, right? We don't wanna change none of this. We're gonna leave this as default. We're gonna keep on moving forward. Now, when we go inside of our movement tab for the sprint aim assist, I do have this off, but I will be changing this, right, to also, I'm gonna have it on, right? I'm gonna have it on, and not just on, I'm gonna have it on tactical sprint assist, right? That way, when I'm moving my left analog stick, like when I was speaking about my dead zone being at a 65, right? I wanna make sure that I can start sprinting, quickly, right away. And then also, running for a longer period of time as well, right? But I don't want to be misleading. Again, this is for me to go into my tactical sprint quickly rather than not quickly at all, right? But right now I do play with it off that way because I still want to be able to move around and still, keep my gun, at my waist or chest side. That way I can be able to snap on enemies quicker and not get caught in a tactical sprint. My manual assist I have off. I have it, my sideways, my backwards is off as well. The tactical sprint only, that's off as well. And I do keep it on tight. I do keep it tight. Anyway, let's keep on moving forward. Crouch aim assist, I have that turned off. Corner slave, I do have it turned on. I have experienced me turning it off. That way that you have it off so your gun wouldn't be leaning, and that could throw off your aim. But the more you play with it, they have in the game, you get accustomed to it. So that's what I've been doing. I've been playing with it on. I've been enjoying it. But if I start having any kind of unnecessary deaths, or I'm just down for no reason, or I feel like I have you don't get a picker's advantage with this. But if I feel like I'm down too much, I may turn it off. Now, when it comes to the movement behaviors, where it says the slide dive behavior, I do have it on hybrid. Hybrid, it allows you to tap the slide, and also you can tap while holding the sprint into a dive, right? So you can, while you sprinting and you hold it, it's gonna make you dive. If not, you just tap it, it's gonna make you slide. And this gonna take really some time, whether a week, multiple games for sure, for you to become better and really enjoying it, right? But if you don't, you're more than welcome to have this on tap to slide. Not dive, you ain't gonna be trying to dive too much. The most OP thing you can do right now in Black Ops 6 Warzone is to slide, not dive. But if you wanted the best of both worlds, put it on hybrid. Okay, so my automatic airborne mount, I do have this on. My sprint restore, I have it on. My slide maintain sprint, I have it on. That way, I do not want to experience any dead slide. So make sure y'all have this turned on. My parachute automatic behavior for Warzone, I do have this at free fall, because if you don't, what you're going to be doing is it's going to automatic pull for you, and you want to get as close to the ground in Warzone before you land for you to pull your parachute by yourself. So that's why I had this as free fall. My mantle cancel reload, I have that turned off. My movement advanced settings, let's dive up into it. I do have this on toggle, right? I didn't want to have this on hold. I want to be able to toggle this on when I feel like it. My auto move forward, I have off. Auto door peek, I have off. I don't want to auto door peek anything. I want to do that manually. Okay. I do have this on double tap right now, but I am for to change this to single tap sprint. Right, I'll make another video about this, and y'all let me know in the comment section if y'all want to see a video about this for what's the difference between double tap, single tap sprint, and single tap run. I can do a separate video speaking about this in details, but let me know in the comment section if you want to see this. My plunging underwater, I have it as trigger, and my sprint door bash, I do have it turned on. That way I won't have to bust through a door manually. It just does it automatically. All right, let's keep on going down to the vehicle advanced settings. Now within here, I don't change anything. We're gonna leave this as default, so I would recommend and suggest you do the exact same thing. Okay, to the combat. All right, my aim down sight behavior, I have this on hold. My tactical stand behavior, I have it on toggle. My tack stance, I have it on ADS, and I hit the down button for me to go in my tack stance. Right, you do have other options that you can select, but for me, I do have it on ADS and hitting the down button, but you could have it on double tap ADS, but feel free to do as you please. For my weapon mount activation, I do have this on double tap for ADS for sure when I want to mount. This is what I've been using really since like Warzone 1, right? And a lot of these is going to be on, not on default, but like some of them on default, some of them I did change. Dedicated melee weapon activation, I have it on hold the melee. Now for this body shield is new that was been integrated inside Black Ops 6. I do have this on prioritize finishing move, but you can definitely have this on prioritize body shield, because when you get behind someone, you will grab them and put them in as a body shield first. Which really, when I'm speaking about it, I'm gonna just go ahead and change that now. But what that means is you will press A to put them in a body shield, but if you want to prioritize a finishing move, you're going to have to hit double A or double melee per se. For my armor plate behavior, you're gonna have this as apply all, right? Because you do not want to be doing this at one time at a time. You don't want to apply one at a time. You want to apply as all, right? For my C4 detonation activation, we're gonna do this one by one. Equipment behavior, we're gonna have it as hold. Manufacture behavior, we're gonna have this on press. So going into our combat advanced settings, this is what I have. Focus behavior is on hold. Chain zoom, we're gonna leave this as is. Short delay for the weapon mount exit, right? It's a short delay, but you know what? I'm going to put this on instant because you want this to be quickly. You don't want to have a delay when you come out of a weapon mount, right? We're going to have this as prioritize as interact, because this is what it says. You're going to tap to reload and interact. To tap to interact, you're going to hold your square button. So I'm gonna reload, but it's about tapping it. But if I want to interact with a door or a chest or anything, I will be holding the square button. My sprint cancel reload is on, right? And then my kimbo behavior is independent. My ADS stick swap, we're gonna leave that as off. And deplete ammo weapon switch, we're gonna have it as on. So when my weapon do run the ammo, it will just automatically switch. Because if you do have it off and you run out of ammo, you're gonna be getting killed, you're gonna get shot down. Nobody wants it because you want an advantage, or you want to have the opportunity to shoot back, right? Okay, so for the overall behavior, we're gonna have this on toggle for the scoreboard. For the overlay advanced settings, we're gonna have this as is, it's default. We're not gonna change this at all. Okay, now we are done with the controller settings. Now we're gonna go over to the graphic settings. So please keep in mind, these are my graphic settings. You can definitely play on full screen exclusive, but for me, I play on full screen borderless because I like to tab out. But keep in mind, it's recommended that you go to full screen exclusive because you do get a bit more FPS. But for me, we are going to take that hit and play on full screen borderless. Okay. All right. This is my monitor display. I have an Asus monitor 1440p, so that's what we're going to be rocking out with. And then for my display adapter, I do have a 3070 Ti. It's 144 hertz. I say, like, again, it's a 1440p. My aspect ratio is on automatic, which really should be 16.9, but we're gonna leave this on automatic so we can do it as it will. For my display gamma, we're gonna have a 2.2 for the RGB. Now my brightness, I do have it at a 60. That's why I feel like that's best fits me, right? So I want to get a little bit more clarity for me to see a little bit more better, especially in those dark areas, right? For my NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency, it is on. Depending if you GPU bound or CPU bound, you want to make sure that you have on or on plus boot. If you GPU bound, you want to have on plus boot, but if you CPU bound, you're going to have this as on. That's why I have mine as on. You want to make sure the eco mode preset, I set mine as custom, but both VSyncs, or they both are turned off. My custom frame rate, I put this, so my frame rate is at a 140, but you can have this 3 or 4 ticks down to a 140. That way your GPU isn't trying to get frame that's not there. So this is why I had this at 140. My menu custom frame rate limit is at a 60, and my out of focus, which means when I'm tabbing out, it'll be running at a 30 FPS. But not 30 FPS, it's just running at 30, right? Frame rate. So my reduced menu render resolution, I do have this as native, right? Not too familiar with all of this though, but I do have this on native. My pause game rendering is off. Reduce quality when inactive is at 10 minutes. Focus mode is on 0. I do have high dynamic range turned off. It do make the game look better when you have it on, but your FPS it'll take a big hit, and we don't want that. Now going over to the quality setting, I do have my own custom because, of course, I changed some things within this. For my render resolution, again, I do play on 1440p, and I do have it at 100. The higher you go up, it makes the game look crispy, but you're gonna it come with a con of having an FPS hit. My dynamic resolution, I do have off. For my upscale sharpening, I do have fidelity cast on, and I keep this all as is. I don't change that. So for my VRAM scale target, I do have it at a 90. You could drop it down to an 80, but I do have mine at a 90. For my variable rate shading is on. Now we're going down to the detail and textures. For my texture resolution, I'm having it on normal. And Jay, hey, just remember, this is all personal preference, depending on if you have a high-end PC or low-end PC. If you're on a high-end PC, you're more than welcome to keep these settings at a normal, ultra, or high. If you're on a lower end PC, then I would highly recommend you just play on your setting low or across the board. That way you get the most FPS. That way you have a opportunity and an advantage to dominate your opponent. For the texture filter anisotropy, you're gonna have this on ultra, right? Depth of field, we're gonna have turned off. Detail quality, we're gonna have normal. Particle resolution, we're gonna have on very low. Bullet impact, I do have this on. Persistent effect, it did come out as default on, but I do have this turned off. Shutter quality as low. But if you have it turned on, you do, the water effects and stuff like that, it do look good, but we're gonna have the shutter quality as low. All right, we're talking about like the reflections and things like that. On demand, texture streaming is at a minimal. You do have the option to go to optimize, but I'm gonna leave it as minimal. Local texture streaming quality, we do have it on low. Now down here into our shadow and lightning. Shadow and lightning, the shadow quality, we're gonna have a normal. Screen space shadow as low, which I might turn this up, especially like for me getting my thumbnails. If I turn this up, it just makes the gun pop a little bit more, have the shadow pop a little bit more, the dark areas and things like that. Right, and as you see, it does say select the level of shadow detail for local surfaces such as the weapon and character. Again, it makes that, it makes the shadows a little bit more detailed. For occlusion and screen space lighting, I do have it turned off. Screen space reflection is turned off. The static reflection quality is turned on low. Down to our environment, tessellation I have to turn off. Volumetric quality I have on low. Deferred physics quality I have on off. Weather grid volume quality on off. Water quality on off as well. Now when we go into our view tab, we do have the accessibility solution, and for the motion reduction preset we don't have off. Now for our field of view, I do, and since we're gonna be inside a Warzone, I do play at a 110. I do my field of view is at a 110. You could have it at 120, which means you could see more of the map. But it's some of you, it might be hard for you to see. Like if you play on a monitor, right? You can definitely have this because your monitor, you're gonna be sitting real close. So you can have this be at a 110 or a 120 and things like that. You can even go lower, just your personal preference. But if you're on a TV, you really don't want to be playing at a 120 because you're already going to be sitting far from the TV, so you may want to have this lower. Just keep that in mind. A lot of people don't discuss that, but I'm letting you know that right now. For my ADS field of view, I do have this on affected, and what that means is when I zoom in, it's going to keep that same scaling, right? But if I go to independent, what that means is it's going to zoom in when I ADS, and we don't want that because you don't want that visual record, and you don't want it to mess up your aiming either. So we do keep this on as affected. For the weapon field of view, we had this on wide because we want to be able to see more of our weapon, but you are more than welcome to put this on narrow, which means it's going to zoom in real close. But again, you want to be able to see more of the weapon, see more of what's in front of you. All right, your third person field of view is at a 90. This is like neither here or there. It's not that important. Your vehicle field of view, I had this on wide. We go down to our camera. I do have both world and weapon motion blur turned off. And the first and third person movement is on 50%. And this is gonna be on the rest of this gonna be on default. Inverted flashbang, and this was integrated like not too long ago, like about a year ago or so. If you turn this on when the body being inverted, when you get flash, it's gonna make the screen go black. But if you have it all, it's gonna make the screen go white, which is the default. And it's gonna be personal preference, right? I don't want to go put on the black mode because, right, if I get flash, I'm gonna think my computer crash and it's gonna throw me out. So I just have it on default. All right. Going to our audio settings. Right now, I do have my master volume, and my audio setup is totally different from you all. And I can adjust my volume on my gadgets that I have out here though. But for your master volume, I do have it at a 50. You are more than welcome to go lower depending on what your setup is, or you can leave it at 100 if it's hard for you to hear. But for me, I do not want my ears to be blasted, by grenades and kill streaks and so forth and so on, right? So I do have it at a 50. I might go down even lower. Gameplay music volume, when I had this absolutely on 0. If not, when you get into those intense moments and the in-game moments, things like that, it's going to be playing music, and I don't need that, and you don't need that as well. You want to be able to be focused and dialed in, for you to clutch up for you or your teammates. My dialogue volume, have it at a 50. Effects volume, which the gunshots and footsteps, you want to have this at 100. You just want to be able to hear, right? Cinematic music, again, when things get tough and when it's this is where when it comes to the cinematic music, when things get intense and for the end game, like I was saying about the gameplay music volume, right? This is where you just want to have this on 0. You don't need it. You want to be able to lock in. The gameplay music volume is like when you in the game and you just hear the music. You don't want that to be played at all. All right, let me see. Let's go down to our enhanced headphone mode. This is something new. I do have this turned on. They say this is supposed to help you be able to hear footsteps better. Me personally, I don't know why they just won't make the footsteps be better across the board without having to enable anything in the settings. Y'all let me know in the comment section, like, do y'all like this setting, or should Call of Duty just have this across the board to where they just have the footsteps just work, period, right? Again, I do have this as on for the enhanced headphone mode configuration. I have looked into this, right? Like, not much, I don't know much about it, right? When I say look into it, I just went to this far right here. I kid you not, right? Because you have to pay for this, and I'm not for the pay just to be able to hear a little bit more. I'm gonna just have to deal with what I can hear now. But if y'all do know a little bit more about this, leave a comment down below. That way, people who wants to know more about it, they can tune in and get familiarized with it. For my audio mix, I do have it on Treyarch mix. I have try to do a headphone based boost and also sucker punch, but for right now, Treyarch mix is best for me to be able to hear, just to get that clarity, right? But I won't be surprised if somewhere down the line, if things begin to get better, if I might change this. But y'all just stay tuned. For mono audio, I do have it turned off. Mute gain when minimized, I had it turned off. Mute licensed music. That way, if you're trying to get, if you're recording, streaming, anything like that, you won't get copyright strikes. So this right here definitely helps you out. So I do have this on mute because I don't want to get copyright strike. All right, for the hearing compensation, I do have it turned off. Config frequency intensity, again, I don't know any of this stuff. I don't mess with these channels. If you are, if you are knowledgeable about this type of stuff, then feel free to tune this as you will. All right. For the functionality for reduced tinnitus sound, we're gonna have this turned on. That way you won't get that chime or dinging or ringing sound when you get flash. It's gonna definitely help you out. hit marker preset. I had this on default, but you could put this as classic, but right now I have it as default, which I do enjoy it. Voice chat, we're not gonna go too much over this. Copy this as you will right here. This is not that important, but no, set this as you will. Okay, now we're gonna go inside our interface. Interface right now for the global, for the visual support preset, we had this turned off. Menu prompts is on automatic. Gameplay tips is turned off. Skip introduction to the movie turned on. Skip kill cam is turned off because I want to be able to see my kill cam. Right, tool tips is turned off. Telemetry, right, this is what this is. Telemetry is like if you want to see your FPS counter, server latency, packet log, so forth and so on. I do have those three turned on right now, but eventually I think I might just turn those off. But this, though, they are on right now, right? And these is as is right now for the network in-game alerts and Hall Warrior in-game alert icons as well. These are just turned on. Now we're gonna go off into our readability. The subtitle is set as default, right? I didn't change any of this, but you can feel free to copy this as is. Right, we go down to the subtitle size, is that default. Really but all of this right here, I didn't change anything. But when you go into your color customization, right now my HUD color palette is set to default. But when you scroll down here to the color filter setting for your color filter, I did go to color filter 2 because it just makes the game pop a little bit more. And that's what you want. No, give it like a little bit more saturation, right? It just makes the colors pop so it won't look dull. No, it just brings a little bit more life into the game, right? And then I did set my color filter target to both. You do have the option to set it to world or interface, but for me, I got to set to both. And then this is kind of new right here when it comes to the world color intensity and the interface color intensity. I do have it set to 100. I might dial it back some, but right now I do have it at 100. Again, I want the game to pop. I want it to look good. And again, I will be messing with this time to time, but right now I do have it at 100. All right, now we can go to our gameplay HUD. These are my HUD bounds, and I have my HUD bounds like this because I want my mini map and all of my icons to be more in, so my eyes won't have to travel so much. So I do have it set to this right here. Again, that is personal preference. But what I do recommend and suggest when it comes to your mini map shape, a lot of y'all play with this, with your mini map as round, but you want to have it on square because when you have it on square, you're able to see more of the red dot, more of the map a little bit. That way you can see where enemies are coming from. You just want to be able to be prepared for those engagement and not get caught off guard. Right, mini map rotation, you're gonna have it turned on. Radar, you wanna have it turned off. I do have my compass type, it's set to horizontal. And your vehicle HUD prompt, I have mine on never disappear. In-game chat turned on. That way when people in-game, raging, getting mad, when I have Twitter fingers or keyboard fingers or whatever you wanna call it. I wanna be able to see it, right? I might use it for content. Don't be that when I make content about, all right? Player name, I have it abbreviated. When we go down to the crosshair. This is in a new area. Usually, this used to be inside the controller settings, but again, this has moved. And I do have mine on static. That way, it won't move so much. It just stays in spot. Like I can almost be where that crosshair is gonna be at, right? For the most part. For the crosshair dot, I have mine turned on. For the cross dot scale, I do have mine turned on to largest. And then for my crosshair spread, I had that turned on. Crosshair opacity, it's pretty cool that you can adjust it, but I do have mine at 100%. Now the beauty of this year Call of Duty, they did implement crosshair color, which is a W in my opinion. As you can see, I do have mine to this magenta looking color, but you all feel free to really pick your favorite color or a color that you're gonna be able to see that's outside of white. White it still looks good though, but a color that you're gonna be able to recognize and see to help you stay on your target. I wouldn't say leave it on red, because you don't want that when the enemies are getting when it shows blood or the hit markers turn red and things like that. You just don't want to be able to be confused. You don't want to be confused at all. So either you go with a green, which is my favorite color, but I did go with magenta, or you can go with a cyan type of color. I have seen players pick that color as well, but feel free to at least have a color set for this because it's going to be amazing. It's going to definitely help you out as well. Okay, now we're going to go down to our hit marker visual. I had this turned on. Damage base hit marker, I'm going to have this turned on as well. For the width visibility at 100, equipment information at 100, We had a player and streak toast at 100, elimination ID at 100. Most of these, everything down here is gonna be at 100. It's gonna be a default. I didn't change those at all. All right, y'all, that's gonna wrap it up for today's content. Revolved around the settings video, for you to go ahead and be the best you're gonna be when you dive into the Area 99 in the Warzone. Also, subscribe to the channel if you love this type of content. Hit that like button. Also, keep on coming back if you wanna stay up to date on everything related to Call of Duty. I got you covered. You dig?